All right, so you guys have been asking questions every once in a while about this car. And you probably remember this car. This is the Sugar Mama car. Why did we name it Sugar Mama? Well, obviously this is my Sugar Mama. And she was driving this car. You probably know, but maybe you don't know, that we have a new driver for this car. We did end up buying it back. We gave the car away. We bought it back from Les. Let me introduce you to the new driver.
What? Hi?
Hi, I'm Kayla Morris.
Oh, I like that. She even introduced herself. This is our daughter, Caitlin. Now, Caitlin has not done any racing yet at all.
Never been down the strip.
Never been down the drag strip at all.
Been to the strip about 150 times.
You know, always gone to there, but it is now going to be in the whole system. Last fall, Caitlin already did a burnout with Kyle. Kyle showed her how to do a burnout. Now,
In the parking lot.
in the parking lot. Yeah, just in the parking lot. So, Caitlin's gonna be driving Sugar Mama here, and it's just gonna be whatever she feels comfortable at. It's a nice, good starter car because we could run this car at 11 O's, 10 O's, 9 O's. So pretty easily, just a nice all-around car. So great starter car for Caitlin, right?
Yep.
Val is probably going to do the vast majority of training in this car. Why would that be?
When I was learning to drive, I got kicked out of the car because I took the turn too slow at first. And then when I sped it up, I was not okay. It was too fast. And I started to walk home, so we're avoiding that. I taught her how to drive, and I said, you know what, it's getting close to needing more hours. You take her out. It's your turn. I get a call about half hour after they leave the house from her saying, can you come pick me up? I'm like, did you crash my car? No, Dad kicked me out of the car.
So, anyways.
Learning shift went a lot better, though.
Yes, I trained you how to do the stick shift. It was a lot better because then you already knew how to drive and you're less sassy at that point.
Well, I figure it's going to be really awkward if you kick her out at like the 60-foot or the
Yeah, you can't kick her out there. So
do that.
yes, so the grand goal here is what you're gonna be possibly because you're graduating college. You're in Grove City College right now, studying marketing. Yep, and you're gonna be done in May.
Yep.
And then sometime in June is what race? Six Summer. So it is the goal, tentative goal that you and possibly you.
Possibly. CBC.
We'll be driving. Well, no, we'll be driving this car.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we'll be driving Sugar Mama. So Caitlin will possibly make her drag and drive debut in the Sugar Mama car that we're renaming. Did I tell you that?
It can be Sugar Mama for a little while.
Did I tell you that Clay Milliken's idea was for a name?
No.
Childcare. Oh, see, I didn't think it was that bad. Do you think it's that bad? I kind of like it, but
Okay.
Clay, I guess not. I guess not, Clay. So, anyways, just so you remember everything about this car, let's go through this real quick, and I'll have the wife hold the camera here and do that, and we'll go over the Sugar Mama and show you all about this car, just in case you don't remember or you never knew in the first place. All right, so this is a 1980 Malibu. We did a whole build-up on this car. Chris Kozlik at 660 Raceworks built the car, the cage, all that stuff in here. Bought this car from forgot who we bought this from, but it was actually painted and done in an auto shop high school for CTC tech.
Scott Overly. He bought it from Scott Overly.
Scott Overly. Wow, that's good memory.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so anyways, this is... I
big block Chevrolet twin torque storm. Now this is actually for all of you old school guys. Open up the door and grab the hood latch, which is down here in down on the side here. It says hood. This is a actual 454, a stock block 454 with a set of aluminum cylinder heads. There you go. Everything from you got to pop the hood just a little bit to get it to pop up.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way. So this here is a good tried and proven, because we've already gone through hydraulic roller, big block Chevrolet, twin torque storms, easy squeezy, drive it. We've already gone through and done everything here at Sick Week. So good tried and true proven combination already. 4 9-inch underneath it. But the one thing that this does have is a way too tight converter. If you remember, if you guys were watching or anything, way back in when we were racing this, we had just gotten it all going and did the normal thing where we take it to Sick Week to go down the track for the first time with a brand new combination.
Yes, because that seems to be the theme of...
Yes, that is the theme. So, trying not to be doing that, and car's pretty well proven out, we found out that the torque converter is astronomically tight in this car. Very tight. Was one of the primary reasons why we was in that 920 area all the time, because it was tight with like was the best 60 foot in this car? 140 something?
Yeah, it was really slow.
Really, really slow. So anyways, and still was going 920s. We're going to get this into where Caitlin's good and comfortable with it, but it's much easier to drive with a looser converter. So these guys, since she's going to be driving, she's going to need to start working on her own stuff. Doesn't have to do everything, but we're going to be talking to her and teaching her how to do her own things. And so we're going to be taking the transmission out of this car so we can change the torque converter. So keep on watching, and we're going to keep on having a bunch of information about this as we get everything going. Kyle's got his Mustang that he calls Blueberry. Caitlin's racing. I have the wagon, of course, and Sugar Mama back there holding the camera we are calling it, I think we're going to call it the Better Half car. Like Better Half Camaro. So the Better Half Camaro. Lots of build-up information coming on that. You can see a lot of that on our website and on our YouTube channel here, and on KSR's YouTube channel from a while back. So anyways, let's get to taking this off. We'll get her up on the lift, and I'll show these guys where to start. All right, so to give you guys a refresher, TRZ Fab 9-inch TBM brakes, AFCO double adjustable rear shocks, stock suspension, pickup points, mounts, sway bar, fuel cell, actually fuel tank with a stock style fuel pump in it, air motive piece. This car runs with 275s, 275 radial tire. Just FYI, this radial car goes down any track in the world, radial prep or big tire prep or the parking lot. Oh, Gulf Coast drive shaft. Our buddies over at Gulf Coast, carbon fiber drive shaft. That is that's a Moser. Oh yeah, that's a Moser rear end. Actually has quite a bit of gear in it. That we might change too. We'll see. Might keep it there just because we don't need to make it faster right now. This has a Rosler Turbo 400 with a slight oil leak. Gonna have to fix that. And that's a Neil Chance converter up there that we're going to be taking out, or the girls are going to take out from there. So that is what is going on. Pretty good stock front or stock framed car, the whole deal. Very nice, good old school drag and drive street rod. No, street car, drag and drive. All right.
All right. Mission accomplished. Transmission is on the ground. I totally forgot. This is the FTI transmission that Cletus gave us for the car. That is after Jack, Stan, and Jimmy broke it. Not really, but really. After he was driving it and it broke the transmission, Cletus gave us this one.
Look at it.
And from FTI, and obviously is working flawless. It's great. All right, so here's the converter. That's what we need to send back. It's a weld together, so I can't change the stator or do anything with it. So we'll just send information to Marty Chance, and he will modify the converter, send it back, and then we will do the exact opposite and put this all back in and back together. Since you guys have done that, you guys can do it again. Right? Mm-hmm. All right. It's a grand old experience. All right. Party on. Where's your mom?
She went to go get some tools.
What the? Hey.
What?
What are you doing?
I'm getting some tools.
So you got other tools you use?
You mean I can birth your children, but I can't use your Snap-on tools?
I don't know.
You don't know how to answer that, do you?
I'm just going to say yes, you can. How about that?
I'll just put them back.
All right, all right, all right. Get what you need. There you go.
Got it? It's heavy.
Don't drop it in there.
Do you want some help? Is that good enough?
No, it's still coming out.
I was talking to the dog, not you.
Oh. All right, I think that's pretty good. There you go. All right, we'll pack that thing up. Ship it. Let's slide the transmission over. Put this stuff away. We'll rock and roll. You want to put the tools away here, babe?
I'm not allowed to touch these tools?
You can touch those ones.
Snag your Snap-ons.
I told you you can touch me.
Look.
You can touch any tool you want.
Snap-on.
I know, see? Snap, you were touching it.
You use that.
All right, we are out. Taking care of business. Really enjoy working with my wife, obviously, and now my daughter, who's gonna be racing, which is really cool, and seeing them working on the car and touching my tools in my toolbox. But it's gonna be great, and really look forward to more and more of that. We're gonna have more content on there. So the converter sent out back to Marty Chance at Neil Chance Converters. Get that thing loosened up, because it's always just too darn tight with the gear ratio and everything that's in the car. So that'll be coming back. We'll show more information on there. Coming up Thursday, so next Thursday's video is gonna be Tom Bailey's, the one and only 5-second drag and drive car. There is no other car that has ever gone 5 seconds in drag week, or drag, or sick week, or sick summer, or at any point in time, ever. Proven during the event. But he is the only one. Did it so long ago, and this car with this original motor. This is one of the original SMX blocks. In fact, this is actually number 2, believe it or not, the number 2 block from 2019. Always been in the car, it's never been out of the car, has gone 577 at 260 miles an hour in quarter mile. That is the fastest, quickest, whatever you guys want to say. Proven, continued to be driven, not a one-time wonder, one and done and out, continuous car. So anyways, we're gonna do the complete build-up on this, and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna talk to you about what was done. You remember, broke a valve. Randomly, boom, broke a valve, that whole deal. So we're gonna be covering this on Thursday, next Thursday, 7 p.m. Make sure you're there. So next Tuesday, we're gonna be covering this. The big block Ford that Kyle's finishing putting together. You probably might be saying, oh, we just saw this on last Tuesday's video. It was already on the dyno. I know. It takes so long to figure out, put things together, that it's just, this is the kind of service that we give people, is we figure out all these small things. There's a lot involved there. If you want to take your 40, 50, 60 hours to finish off this whole engine, figure out how, oh, this doesn't fit, I got a machine, oh, this doesn't work, I gotta do this, oh, I gotta do it. Or you have me do it. Now we do have to charge for it, but that's one of the differences in between us and other engine builders. So another thing that sets us apart from other engine builders is I answer so many questions. Let's answer one right now. So from last Tuesday's video, the best question that I got there right away was from Roy Grimm, at Roy Grimm. I always thought it was forbidden, I like that word, it makes me chuckle, forbidden to run without exhaust manifold or headers, that it would burn the exhaust valves. Okay, it's a good, reasonable question, and a lot of people ask that kind of question. No, it does not. And the reason being is, if anything, it might cycle exhaust valves too cold. So let's imagine you have, let me grab a valve real quick. Let's imagine this is the exhaust valve, okay? So here's your cylinder. Exhaust valve opens up. Hot exhaust gas goes past it and goes out here. All right? Now, if that the temperature in the cylinder is always the same. Okay, it changes. Let's just say one steady RPM, perfect tune, everything, it just stays right there, okay? So don't get hung up on it changes and all this other stuff. I'm just giving you for instance, exhaust gas goes past it, goes out here into atmosphere. Temperature is still the same. Let's just say 1200 degrees. 1200 degrees, 1200 degrees. Okay, now let's put a header on it out here, and it's this long and all the way down. Still 1200 degrees, still 1200 degrees. Comes out, and if anything, there would be back pressure and it would be blowing a little hotter. If anything, it would probably make more heat and keep more heat on the exhaust valve. So, if anything, running an engine without any manifold on it at all with this shorter runner, exhaust runner, if anything, when you shut the engine off, since it didn't have this enclosed header or exhaust manifold kind of retaining heat, making things making things cool down more slowly, it would probably actually cool down faster. Does that cause a problem? No, probably not. I suppose if you were running your car with no headers on it, open exhaust, and then you shut the engine off and you dunked it in a tank of water, I suppose that would hurt it. That'd be possible. But otherwise, no, it never changes the cylinder temperature. If anything, it probably would be a little bit cooler because it just dumps it into atmosphere. Make sense? All right. That being said, all you guys with Honda Civics, take that manifold right off. Let her eat.
I'm sure a lot of people will love you for that one.
All right, so now let's get right into the next part of the video where Joe's going to start assembling another small block Chevrolet. This one's ProCharged, with the big, massive billet aluminum connecting rods that we had in there. So Joe's going to walk your way through this and start showing you some stuff and explain things to you. As he's doing it, I jump in there and we'll talk about some other things during the engine build. And then we're going to dyno it. So remember, Boost fixes everything. It fixes every small block Chevrolet in the world.
Okay, so right now I'm checking main bearing clearance on our small block Chevy here. And I'm going to show you how we're doing it real quick. This is our crankshaft. This is our mic. We mic the journals on the crankshaft, meaning measure them. And we figure out what the diameter, the shaft diameter is for all the mains. What I'll do is I'll measure all of them. They're usually within a tenth, and I'll just average what I get throughout all 5 of them. I've already measured this crank several times, so I already know what the numbers are. But so our average is 2-inch 648 and 8/10. So we'll use our mic vise here, dial bore gauge, and I'm going to set the dial bore gauge to 0 on size of the diameter of our main journals. We're zeroed out there at 2-inch 648 and 8/10. When I stick the dial bore gauge through the bores, all the main caps are torqued on with the bearings inserted in them. So whatever I see over 0 on the dial bore gauge is our vertical oil clearance. And you always measure it vertically, not this way, not like that. There's another video of Steve's that explains these bearings are not round when they're torqued in place, and there's a reason for that. Check out his video, he'll explain that to you. So anyway, they always call it vertical oil clearance. Check both sides of the bearing there. We're shooting for about 3. And that's pretty much exactly what we got here. So that's 0. Each dash is 1/2 thousandth. So that's just a hair over 3 there. On the back side of the bearing, hair over 3 there. Right about 3, 3-1. Got about 3-1 there. I'll dead on 3 there. And just for good measure, no pun intended, I'll write it down. 30 means 30 tenths, but 3.0 thousandths. 3.1 thousandths, 3.1 thousandths, so on and so forth. Okay, so our main bearing oil clearance is now measured. We are all done here. We can now remove the main caps, put our rear seal in, and install the crankshaft. So I forgot to mention, cam bearings have to be installed before the crankshaft, because you can't get to them when the crankshaft's in place. And you also need to be able to see the oil holes that feed the cam bearings. And basically how you install them, we've got an expandable driver here. Put the cam bearing on the driver, expand it till it's tight. This kind of helps you align the bar through the block, and you drive them in with a hammer on this end. I like to just start with number 5 and work my way out to number 1. There we are, right on the money. Oil band is right in the center of the hole. You can see the oil band right in the center of that hole. That's right where you want it. So we're gonna do the same thing with 4, 3, 2, and 1, and make sure that we don't push them in too far. All of our oil bands are lined up perfectly with our main oil feed holes, but the real test is now we got to stick the cam in and make sure it spins nice. And we have to do this now because if one of the bearings is in a little crooked or something's not right, this is something you cannot fix when the crankshaft is in the block. So we have to verify everything is 100% good to go with the cam bearings in the cam before we can go any further. My camshaft installation tool has always been this Phillips head screwdriver. It works just fine. And you want to be careful installing a camshaft always. It's very easy to scratch the cam bearings with the cam lobes. That's why I use the screwdriver to help kind of steer the camshaft through number 5 here. Nice and smooth. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just install it. And I like to install camshafts before the crank in general anyway. And here's why. With the crankshaft out of the way, I can put assembly lube directly on all 5 cam journals rather than putting it on out of the block and then push it in and have the first bearing wipe all the lube off as you push it through the block. This way we're getting lube directly on each journal. Cam bearings in, camshafts in. Now we're just going to install all of our core plugs while we're here because why not? Okay, so you saw me set the crankshaft in. I'm not installing it. I'm just mocking it up with the thrust bearing and the number 5 main cap, just to make sure that it's got adequate amount of end play. It's not uncommon that sometimes you have to sand the thrust bearing if that's too tight, if you don't have enough end play. And rather than to put the rear main seal in, bolt the crank in, have everything all torqued up, and then find out, oh, it doesn't have enough end play, and now I got to pull the rear cap off and the rear seal apart and everything. It's easier to just check it ahead of time. So that's what I did. Right now, got the indicator set up. We got a little over 4 thousandths of end play. That's fine. So, gonna pull that cap back off again, pull the crank back out, lube everything up, and install the crankshaft with the rear main seal for real.
All right, so we got this. Joe's got the short block together, so piston rods. So people were interested in what this actually is. Dart block, 4125 bore, 3750 stroke. So it's just a 400, right? And with a 6-inch MGP billet aluminum rod, and our piston and pin package, piston pin and ring package. These ones are black anodized. Actually, they're anodized, and if they're black, then they have the Teflon. I think it's like a PTFE. No, it's not PTFE. That's the wrong one. It's some kind of Teflon thing. So, anyways, with a conventional 927 pin. So, customer here, they wanted to have. They actually wanted a short block. It's kind of a long story. Short block, but we're actually just kind of finishing up their long block. So. We built the short block here. Now we're putting on all of their stuff. They got an AFR, looks like an AFR 227 head. AFR 227 head. Dry sump, or wet sump, melon billet, oil pump. I see they got an aluminum billet rail pan down there. This is ProCharged F1A 94, and I believe EFI. Throttle body, the whole normal deal. It's got a T&D rocker arm system, coil unplugged. It's nice, good pieces. And we're just going to run this thing on the dyno. I don't think we're going to, well, yes. It's non-intercooled. I believe it is methanol. Yep, methanol, which is why we're doing the big rod in it. And so we're gonna dyno this thing for them too, and just get a general bass tune for them. So it'll be kind of interesting to see basically where they had it all set up, where it was gonna run at, just exactly the way they had it, with just a new short block in it. Because I think they broke the whole short block is what it was. So anyways, we're gonna be running this thing, and we're going to be doing something really cool. We're going to be dynoing 3 different engines, and Joe's working on his, and we'll talk about that in a second. So we got what I call the Grimace engine. This engine is an engine I built several years ago for my sprinkler guy, Sprinkler Tom. I think his last name is Tom. His first name's Sprinkler, because that's what it is in my phone. I don't remember what his last name is. Sorry, Tom.
It might be Tom Sprinkler.
Tom Sprinkler?
Yeah,
No, it's Sprinkler Tom. That's the way it's in my phone.
Oh,
Sprinkler
so that's his first name.
Oh,
Yeah.
then Sprinkler is his first name.
Sprinkler, yeah.
Tom.
Okay.
Field,
Anyways, he's my.
Common last
I built this thing for him a long time ago. The purple is because that's the color of his car. He has never done anything with this engine yet, but then he changes carburetors and does some stuff. And he goes, "Hey, I want you to just dyno this and do a tune on it." I go, "Okay, cool." So we're gonna dyno that thing, dyno this thing, and then we have the Rick Johnson engine that Kyle's been working on. Another small block Chevrolet. Was the engine that I built for Tom Bailey's pace car that Tom Bailey at Sick the Mag is giving away. This is the original engine there, and that thing's like 18 years old. So the one that Kyle's been working on. So we're going to dyno all three of these engines. Hopefully, you have the video up for you next week on that. But let's go over here and talk about something kind of cool on what we were calling the average Joe engine. Because he's Joe.
And I guess I'm average.
You're above average Joe.
Above that, it's the above average Joe.
The above. Oh, we could call it the above average Joe. The above average Joe. Okay. All right. Let's go look at that thing. So since this is the above average Joe, we're going to do a whole buildup, and Joe is going to talk you through and go through a whole buildup on the above average Joe small block Chevy. And this one
is Chevy orange.
Is Chevy orange, and this is actually a OE block with OE heads.
Well, those are World products. Sportsman 2.
Oh, you blew my whole theory. Well, we're still gonna call this a stock block. So here's the stock block. We're gonna see how much horsepower stock blocks small block Chevrolet can.
84 casting, 4-bolt main, factory main bolts, and steel heads.
And steel heads. So iron block, iron heads. So Joe's gonna, in a future episode here, Joe's gonna do a whole build-up on the above average Joe small block Chevy. The kind of small block Chevrolet that goes in anything. Anything. This is before people LS swap stuff, they small block Chevy swap stuff.
The above average Joe swap.
The above average Joe swap. So that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. You'll be seeing the above average Joe.
Okay, so we got the heads on our short block. As we explained, the customer supplied all the parts for the top end of this engine. We were responsible for everything from the head gaskets down. So now it's time to install rocker arms. However, the push rods that were supplied are a 5/16 80 wall push rod, a little over 8 inches long. We've got about 300 pounds of spring pressure on the seat, almost 700 open. This is not going to cut it. 5/16 80 wall push rod is about as small and weak as they come, and something like this you could get away with this in like a low spring pressure hydraulic roller deal, but for something like this you cannot run a little push rod like this. They'll bend, they'll flex. It's just not good. We just so happen to have a full brand new set on the shelf, 3/8 120 wall push rods in the same length, much beefier push rod here. This one will work fine for what we're doing. Dinky little 5/16 80 wall push rod. 3/8 120 wall, much sturdier push rod here. Basically required for what we're doing here. I mocked up some rocker arms here just to make sure that the push rods would clear. There's a lot of times you might not have the option to run a bigger push rod because they just won't fit. Or you have to do too much clearancing to the head to make it fit to where you'll put a window, into the intake runner or whatever. But these AFR heads clearly have provisions for 3/8 push rods, so it's totally not a problem. I just checked. So now we are going to install the Valvetrain on this thing with our beefier 3/8 push rods.
Alrighty, so you've seen the buildup on this thing. Kyle's got this up and running on the dyno. Now, what we're seeing here, all we're doing on this, it's a long story. We're just helping the customers out on this thing, and by just dynoing, getting them a bass tune. They weren't gonna send any of this stuff in, but now did. It's like, okay, it's a very long story. I'm helping. So we're not going to. And we're helping. This is what they had set up on it. This is where they're at, and so I'm just kind of dynoing as they had it, not going through and reinventing the wheel and just making them spend another $10,000 to do things the way I would normally want to do all this. Okay, so we built them a short block. Everything else is kind of their deal. So we're just going to dyno this, make sure everything's good, make sure there's no problems. No water leaks, none of that. You seen us do the whole great big aluminum connecting rod on this. Short block is actually probably built a little more robust than what it needs to be, but that's good. Serpentine F1A 94. So serpentine drive on methanol. You can see back here, obviously I didn't do any of this. And for a throttle body like this, I'm actually more interested just to see how it works, because these just do not work well on a carburetor. My hat works a lot better. We developed my hat 20 years ago now, but this doesn't. But I think it'll probably work out fine when it's just moving air and it's not affecting the distribution of fuel, because there is no fuel coming through the throttle body. Okay, so kind of just seeing exactly where everything's all at the way they have it. They also have just a little screen back here on the inlet side of the ProCharger. Probably a little bit of difference there, and definitely having fresh air and sealed instead of sucking hot air off of the header is obviously worth horsepower. But all we're doing is just proving this out, just making sure everything's all good. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because they're putting it in the car and taking it to the hub dyno and then sorting it out. They just want to make sure everything's all good. So trying to do this quickly, and it's going pretty well so far. So I think we're going to be. Kyle's working on tune-up, and Kyle's doing this one because EFI. Not even a comment. Not even a comment. That's okay. Anyways, I think we're just about ready to. Our tune-up's looking good.
Yeah, everything's looking good.
Yeah. I will tell you guys, I do need to clarify that. Carbureted stuff is always a great place to start, and carbs work awesome, can work really excellent. Sometimes in some applications can work just as well, if not better, than EFI. But in any kind of boosted application, somewhere, somehow, some way down the road, you're gonna go EFI because it is better. The tunability the data logging, everything you know that's there. There's a lot of stuff there. So just you have to be up front and honest on that. It is, you would end up going there. So fine to start at blow through carburetors, but you will end up EFI. It's the best place to be. You ready? All right, party on. There you go, 1100. Alrighty.
Full.
Yeah, it wasn't even really a full pull. We only didn't go to 7,500.
Yeah, I think I just went to 7,000 or something.
Yeah, that's looking good. Always appreciate when it runs off the graph. It makes so much horsepower. It runs off the graph. I always like seeing this repeatability. This is where Kyle pulled back short on the previous pull that you didn't see. And there we go. Torque. Yeah.
Synchronize them.
Did it not synchronize, got that? There we go. That looks better. Nice, flat, broad torque curve. And why does it do that? It does that because it's a centrifugal supercharger where boost is always increasing. So RPM increases, boost increases. Therefore, it maintains a torque longer and or even puts the torque curve way out higher RPM. So yeah, this is all looking good. I mean, it's probably probably like 1125, 1150 at this boost level. So our boost level, you do not have boost pressure hooked up there? Nope. Okay.
It made
Have to look at it on the. This is where EFI always rules because it's got all the data logging right there.
made 17.5 pounds.
17.5 pounds methanol. You got. Okay. So that's super safe on timing right there. Kyle's only got 26 degrees of timing. This is on methanol. So, I mean, it'd probably be, I don't know. We could tune this thing, but since it's gonna go in their car with a different EFI system, everything, I think we're just gonna leave it right here where it's at. So it would probably at this horsepower or at this boost level, 7,500. I think it probably would make about 1,200 horsepower at 18 pounds of boost. Might make upwards of 1,300 if we really start working on the tune-up. You got it's throwing a bunch of fuel at it right through there. So we'll give them their fuel numbers and some timing numbers, and they can look at that kind of. They'll translate that into the tuner. Their tuner will translate that into it on the hub dyno. So I think that's a really good safe spot, and oil's clean, no water leaks, no nothing. I think everything is pretty darn good. You got anything to say?
Nope, that's about it.
That's it. All right. I think we'll go through and just do our normal procedure, which we're just going to
Run gas through it.
run gas through it. Lash it. Just check the valve lash. Make sure everything looks good. Do a compression test on it. Just make sure all the basics and vitals are correct, and this thing's ready to roll. So. If you like this kind of content, we didn't spend a whole bunch of time, going over tuning and all this stuff. That is, what pass is that? That was, the third hit on it. So, isn't that something though? How boost, you put boost on anything, and it fixes it, makes it better. It does. We just got done dynoing 2 NA small block Chevrolets. One went really well. One Grimace gave me a whole bunch of trouble. And man, you put a blower on something or turbos on something, bang. It's just like boost makes your life better. Isn't that right, Nate? You do not have anything with boost, so you don't know yet.
Yeah.
You just see.
Nothing's good.
Huh?
Nothing's good.
I know. You're just like, oh, you're like, I want to be like those guys, but you're just
Yeah, I'm like the kid looking up. Oh,
your Honda Insight is just not quite there yet.
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 I think it'll ever be.
All right, so we're gonna close this video out. Remember, leave your comments below. Any questions? Or maybe you got questions on Caitlin, my wife, and Sugar Mama car that we're trying to figure out the new name for, and or this engine. But and I'm gonna choose, my favorite question and go, oh, that's a really good question. And if I say, oh, that's a really good question, I say you by name, and I say this is a really good question, I'm gonna send you a free bunch of stuff. Well, not like a whole bunch of stuff, but you get my idea. So anyways, like, subscribe, make sure that you're subscribed. We're so close to the magic 500,000. We're just so close, and I bet you 5,000 of the people that are watching this video think they're subscribed and aren't. So make sure you go check that you're subscribed. Just because you got a notification does not mean that you're subscribed. So anyways, and go over to Kyle's channel.
My name, Kyle Morris on YouTube.
Kyle Morris, YouTube. He's an up-and-coming young man, a future star.
Potentially, we'll see.
Well,
Not
all
quite like Dewey though.
No,
nothing like the dog.
no, nobody gets attention like he does.
Nobody gets attention like the dog. And with that, he comes over for attacking. All right, I'm Steve Morris. Have a great day.